Hey, y'all, hey, what's up? It's your girl Delisa. Today we're going to be talking about funding, how to get funded. Now, a lot of people who are in the Keys, Deeds, and Profits Facebook group and the Black Women Invest in Real Estate Facebook group, you guys have been asking me for the longest about funding. A lot of you have come in because you want to know how to get funded. And that's the one thing, like when you're answering the questions way before you enter the group. And for those of you who are not in the group, the one group is Keys, Deeds, and Profits. That's for everybody. The other group is Black Women in Real Estate, which I'm an admin in. And what we do in that group is we have people who come in and talk about it. So we're trying to get everybody set up. Switch the account over to this one. And then I'll go to this one, go to the other one. I need to get my Facebook groups in here so that we can get you guys in the group. Here we go. This one. All right. Here we're gonna share it. Copy the link in the group. And drop this on Facebook. So tonight we're talking about funding, how to get money in real estate. And drop this on Facebook. So tonight we're talking about funding, how to get money in real estate. So I want you guys to grab your pens and papers, grab your pens and papers, and get your notes ready because we're getting ready to do this. And get your notes ready because we're getting ready to do this. And get your notes ready because we're getting ready to do. And now I figured it out what I had to do. All right. So, and this always takes me forever to get it done, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. And one more, and then we're gonna get ready. Tonight we're gonna be talking about funding, how to get funded for your real estate deals. The first thing we're gonna talk about is mortgages, because a lot of you guys don't seem to understand the mortgage process. And you're saying you want to be homeowners, but you don't understand the mortgage process. So we're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna get you guys also acclimated to getting into everything else that we need to get into. Okay, so first thing first, my name is Lisa Robinson. I am y'all's favorite real estate diva out here in these real estate streets. I've been slutting it up in these real estate streets for the past 26 years. Bought my first rental property when I was 26 years old. So that's telling y'all how old I am. Well, close, because I was 26 going on 27. I would have been 20, but I bought it in February, turned 27 in June. And we've just been going back and forth with the process of, you guys know me, I wholesale real estate. I try to rebuilding my portfolio for rental properties. And I'm going to be flipping and buying and holding a lot of stuff over the next 2 years because I am going to retire. That's the goal, to retire. I also dibble and dabble in stocks. I dibble and dabble in a little bit of crypto, not a lot because I'm a little leery about crypto and I don't really understand it all a lot. So I don't dibble and dabble in that too much. But what I do know is real estate. And so I come to you guys live and I come out here to teach you what I do know. And what I know is real estate. So without further ado, I hope you got your pens and papers. Tonight we're talking about how to get these deals funded because a lot of you don't understand how to get deals funded. So we're going to start with the simple process of your personal credit, and how this works and how it works. So if you wanted to get into if you wanted to buy a home and start that process. Now, let me explain, because I do a lot of creative financing strategies, okay? And one of them, how I started out, house hacking. And house hacking, it wasn't called house hacking back in 1998 when I first bought my house, but it's called house hacking now. That's when you buy a duplex. You live on one side and you let the tenant pay the mortgage. I say it again. You live on one side, you live in one unit, and you let the tenants pay the mortgage. That's called house hacking. So that's how I started out in this real estate game, to be honest with you. And do I regret it? No. Do I think I should have done something different? No. Because at the time I was 26 years old, I wasn't married, I had no children. I was in college still because I had went back because I had stopped going and went back to school. And so I decided to buy a house and I didn't want a single family home. I wanted a duplex because in my 26-year-old mind, single family homes was for people who were married with children. And I don't believe that now, but that's what I felt then. So, like they say, people change, things change, everything changed. So, what we're doing is I had to be approved for a mortgage. You will have to be approved for a mortgage. Okay. So, if you're going to be approved for this mortgage, what we ask you to do is this. What you can do if you want to be approved for the mortgage, you just have to, one, get your credit in order. Okay. These are the leases things, and these are the things, you guys know, I am a real estate broker, and I do have a process that I take my clients through when we're doing the home buying process. Now, what we first thing we do is we take a financial statement. Yes, I take a financial statement for with my clients, and we go over every single debt that they owe. Do I pull their credit reports? No, I should, seeing as how I know how to read a credit report and I know what needs to be taken off and all this other stuff, but I'm not. I leave that to the people who do that, who get paid to do that, and I don't get paid to do that. So, with my experience in collections, and you guys know the last time I did collections, 7 years ago, I left collections, but I did collections from 1994, off and on from 1994 up until 2017. Yeah, it's a long time. And I've collected everything from World Book encyclopedias, for those of you who want to know, who still remember that, all the way through to the United States Department of Education. I spent the last 15 years of my collections career collecting for the United States Department of Education. And while doing that, they taught us how to do a financial statement. That is the same exact financial statement that I still use to this day with my clients. And it's basically all of your income, any and all of your income, any and all of your income, because you might not include your security and your child support and all that in your financial statement. We all do. It's just human nature. But banks don't count that. Banks don't count child support. Banks don't count, so anything that's they don't consider non-taxable income. So this is particularly what I'm going to go through tonight is extremely important for anybody that's looking to buy a home, but it's especially important for people who are self-employed to buy a home. You guys love to get a tax refund. I'm telling you now, the tax refund is nothing but your money. You overpaid the government, so they're giving you your money back. So I'd rather underpay them and owe them $500 at the end of the year than to, and especially like hairstylists, nail techs, estheticians. You guys are primarily a cash business unless you accept credit cards, and a lot of you don't. which, or you prefer not to. So, what we try to do with that, in that instance, what we try to do is we try to get you guys into make sure you're showing a profit. So, all of your income, then you take out all of your household expenses. And because you're self employed, you're going to take out your business expenses first. So, you got your income, then you have your business expenses. When your paycheck, what you pay yourself should have included with the business expenses. and then you pay yourself. And then out of the money that you pay yourself, that goes into your personal bank account, and then you pay your bills, your household bills. Now, household bills, ladies, hair, nails, makeup, that's considered wigs, that's all considered in your bills. Fellas, beard balm, haircuts, massages, the manicures that y'all starting to get, the massages that y'all get. Some of you get facials. And nothing wrong with that. I don't judge. I think it's very sexy for a man to take care of himself. You want to be honest. So when I say your personal care, I include that in a financial statement. The reason why is because I don't want my clients to be house poor. Yeah, I own a house. Yeah, I got, my own house. Yeah, I'm a homeowner. Y'all like that flex. But a lot of y'all broke because you're house poor and you shouldn't be. So that's where we go with that. And the reason why we don't. So now the first thing you have to do is get your finances in order. That's the first thing. Take an inventory. All you're doing is taking inventory of what you have coming in and what you have going out. That's the first step to getting your mind wrapped around the fact that you want to buy a house. The second thing you need to do is get your credit right. Check on your credit. See what it is. Half of y'all think y'all know y'all credit score and you don't. Credit Karma is not your real credit score. So y'all can do that if y'all want to. But Credit Karma is not your real credit score. Okay? Okay. Number Nope, 3. Another thing you need to do, I suggest this to my clients all the time. Open a separate bank account strictly for your house. And a lot of you will say, oh, well, I don't need that. I have this and have that. If you already have a personal account, great. Open up a second account just for you to put all your BS into, like your anything that's not a household bill goes over there. So if you got Cash App money coming in and somebody owed you money and they paying you in Cash App, you don't want that showing up on your bank statement for your house. You want a clean bank statement. Now y'all probably gonna look at me like I'm crazy. That's okay. But if you want a clean bank statement. Okay. Now, the reason why you want a clean bank statement, you want everything to be as clean as possible. You want your credit clean, you want your bank statement to be clean because everything you put into that bank account and everything that goes out of that bank account will be put under a microscope so that the underwriting department is not missing anything. So they're going to want to know if you have 5,000 just pop up and it was a cash deposit, they're going to know where that cash came from. This is why we say have a clean bank account. Try to have it as clean as possible. Even the one that you currently have, clean it up. You can use the one you currently have. You don't have to open one that's brand new. You can use the one that you currently have, but make it a clean bank statement. Make sure it doesn't go, there's no unnecessary withdrawals and no mysterious deposits in that bank statement. Make it as clean as possible. Utilities, groceries, paycheck. And you just keep adding money to it. And if they say, where's the money coming from? And you show it, transfer it from another bank. Even if you have this other bank account and you're transferring it from that account, you're still going to have to show where the money came from. So you're going to have to show that other bank statement and provide that to your lender. That's just how they do. You can be mad if you want to. That's not how it works. Okay. Now, another thing you want and that you're going to have to, another thing that you want and that you're going to have to get into is the do's and don'ts of credit. And y'all probably like, what the heck? Delisa, you tripping. No, I ain't tripping. Y'all tripping. I'm going to show you the do's and don'ts of credit. They call these the 10 commandments. You can Google it. I kid you not. It's the 10 commandments of real estate, of 10 commandments of buying a home. It says, do not change jobs. Those of you that are self-employed, file your taxes. File them every year. File them so you make a profit. so that they show banks don't lend money to people that don't make money. So file the taxes, okay? Don't quit your job, don't change your jobs, and don't all of a sudden decide, hey, I want to be self employed. And then you want to buy a house because you're going to have to do something different. Okay. Don't buy any cars, any type of vehicles. Don't run your credit because if you go to a dealership, they run your credit report no less than 8 times because they run it through about 8 different lenders and each lender pulls your credit report. So one you think is one inquiry and it ends up being 8 inquiries. Okay. Do not use your credit cards excessively. If you are trying to buy a house, I need you to do it this smart way. Put your utilities on your charge card and pay the charge card off every month. Keep it under 30%. If you owe $1,000, don't try to charge no more than $300 a month and pay it off every month. Not only will this keep your utilization down, it would also keep your credit good. Okay? All right. Now, another reason we don't want you buying cars and using your credit report excessive and using your credit cards excessively is a thing called DTI, debt to income ratio. A lot of loans, and we're going to be going over this. This is just part one of a whole series that we're going to be doing for the next few days. And we're going to be talking about going through the process of buying a home and getting you funded. This is just one, the traditional method. We're going to go over the traditional lending methods to get you into a home because some of you don't believe you can put your home and you should put you're listening to people who tell you don't put your first home into an LLC and this, that, and the other, whatever. And that's preference. That's not the law. That's just a preference. Okay. So I'm going to teach you guys how to get a mortgage in your name. And then we're going to teach you how to house hack and how to do other things so that you can put yourself in a position to get more money. All right. Another thing they tell you not to do, don't pay your bills late. One late takes about 6 months to bring your score back up. And I learned that from my girl Kyra over at Credit Cleanse. She was telling me about that. Don't spend money that you put in this account. If you put money into this account for your home closing, don't spend it. Okay? Do not leave out any debts. We already went over this with the financial statement. Don't leave out any debts, or liabilities that you might have. Don't buy any new furniture yet. You don't have the house, so don't go out and buy all this new furniture. Do not apply for additional credit. I just explained to you about how one inquiry turns into 8 for credit for a car. So don't apply for credit, and please, for the love of God, do not co-sign for anybody else's credit. Okay? Don't make large deposits into your bank account without proof of where that money came from. Now you can put the money in there, but you have to have proof of where it came from when you're dealing with the mortgage companies. Okay. And like I said, don't co-sign for anybody. So that's the 10 commandments that they tell you about. And people think I'm always telling half truths about this, but I'm serious. That's what it is. We call it the 10 commandments of buying a home. You can Google it. The list is online. All right. Now, let me explain to you the second thing that you guys are going to walk into when you're going to apply for the mortgage. So we got your financial statement. We got your credit situated. Now, part 3 is you need to know the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification. A pre-approval is just that based on our preliminary investigation, you would qualify for this. A pre-qualification is we've sent you through underwriting. Everything looks good. You just need to find a house. So that's like an approval. You've qualified for this mortgage. You just need to find a house. And then in either situation, they give you a deadline as to when you have to find a house. I'm going to tell you, it's better for you when you're, especially in this seller's market that we're in this high demand market with low inventory but high demand, That's why prices are so astronomical right now. Don't let anybody tell you different, but that's why the prices are so high right now. The thing is, you need to, in this market, it's better for you to be pre qualified, not pre approved. So talk to your lenders about getting pre qualified. That's where you turn in all your financials. They do everything they need to do, and they get everything approved. The only thing you have to do is find a house. Because guess what happens when you go to submit your offer? Hey, I'm already qualified. A pre-qualification letter is much different than a pre-approval letter. Okay, a pre-qualification letter is going to come with a commitment agreement and things like that. Versus a pre-approval is just a flat piece of paper that says, "Hey, the lease has been approved for this amount. Here you go shopping. She can't have taxes more than this." And see, and with a pre-qualified, they've already ran your credit. They've already done everything they need to do. You still need to keep everything clean. You don't make any sudden moves with your credit until you close. Not once it goes to underwriting, because guess what? 2 days before you close, they're going to run your credit again. They sure are. They might do it the day you close, but right before you close, the week of you closing, they're going to run your credit again to make sure you still qualify and that all your credit is up to date. So if you have a late payment during that time, they're going to find it. If you have an over limit credit card, they're going to know. So I'm telling you, until you close, meaning keys in hand, and you can wrap your little fingers around these keys and you can go, "Yay, I got these keys." That's when you can't do nothing with your credit. Okay? All right. Now, there are different loan types. There are different mortgage types and different loan types that everybody has when it comes to credit. I'm going to get into the details tomorrow. I'm going to give you the brief overview today. So we have conventional loans that are issued by banks or mortgage companies with standard terms, down payment, credit requirements, how much you can have in taxes, and your taxes can't be over a certain amount. Then we have FHA loans. There are two types of FHA loans. There's an FHA loan that strictly purchases a property. And then there's the 203K, the FHA 203K, that gives you the money to fix it up and the money to buy. So it gives you the money to purchase and the money to fix it up. Both loans are the same with the exception of the rehab funds that you get. So in this case, if you bought a fixer-upper, meaning say you bought a house for $100,000, but you got qualified for 175, you still will qualify for 175. Only they would take the 100,000 and purchase the property, and the other 75,000 they give you to fix it up. So that's the difference between the two different kinds of loans. And then there are other traditional loans, such as, yeah, I didn't think I was going to go into this, but I am. You can go into conventional loans. We talked about that. The only thing with conventional loans, I'm going to give you this one. These loans, they have competitive interest rates for borrowers with good credit. That's some of the pros. Like everybody think, oh, if you don't do FHA, you got to put 20% down. If you have good credit, you don't have to put a lot of money down on a house. Now you will have to pay something extra because you're not putting down stuff on a house, but you don't have to put a 20% down on a house. No mortgage insurance, and that's what it is. You do have to pay mortgage insurance if you don't put 20% down, but you don't have to pay mortgage insurance if you put 20% down. And the loan terms will range from 15 to 30 years. However, now the problem with conventional loans is they're very strict on their credit and income requirements. They require a significant amount of money down, 5 to 20% based on your credit score. And it's a very slow process because they have to go through everything, and they're going to run your credit in the beginning, they're going to run your credit in the middle, and they're going to run your credit at the end. So you have to make sure your credit stays clean. Okay. You need at least a 620 credit score to qualify, and you get better rates, better interest rates, and better terms the higher your credit score. but you can get approved for a conventional loan with a 620 credit score. The debt to income, meaning how much what you owe versus how much you bring in, that's debt to income, and that debt to income ratio is 43%. Check with your lenders because some lenders might have higher or lower DTI requirements. The down payment, of course, is at 5 to 20%. And your proof of income with a conventional loan, you will have to provide proof of income. And that is a pay stub, a tax return, W-2s. Got to provide it. Okay. We talked about the FHA loans. FHA loans, you only have to put 3.5% down. Your credit score only has to be a 580. And people didn't know that. Now, here's the thing. You can have lower than a 580, but you're going to have to put more money down. You have to put 10% down versus 3.5% down. Okay. You do have to pay mortgage insurance for the life of the loan if the down payment is less than 10%. So you want to put 10% down. You want to try and always put 10% down. Okay. Now, you can get, and people always say, well, I heard this real estate agent saying they got their client a loan and they only had a 500 credit score. That's true. You can get a 500, you can get an FHA loan with a 500 credit score. You sure can, but you're also going to have to put at least 10% down. Whereas if you have a 580 or higher, you only have to put 3.5% down. Okay. Now, that debt to income has to be below 43%. Can exceptions be made? Yes, it depends on your credit score. It depends on your income. It depends on where you're going to buy this property or how much this property is going to cost. It depends on a lot of things. Your down payment, we talked about that, and the property type, it must be for an FHA loan. It must be your primary residence, meaning you have to live in this house. And you can buy anywhere from 1 to 4 units. All right. And then we have VA loans. VA loans are for veterans. There's no down payment, no private mortgage insurance, competitive interest rates. Now, all you veterans out there need to be looking into this because that's ridiculous. That you don't have to put anything down. You don't have to pay the PMI, which is the private mortgage insurance, and you don't have to worry about a high interest rate. It's only available to people who are in the military. It's like USAA insurance. It's only available to the people in the military or their families. But the VA loan is only for veterans. And it can only be used on a primary residence. So you have to live in it. Yeah, I know some veterans who have gotten around that, but you're supposed to be living in it. Okay. And the VA funding fee applies. So, but you can roll that into the loan. So it's like, why not do it? Okay. Now, for you military people who out there doing this, your credit score generally has to be about a 620 or higher. Your debt to income ratio shouldn't exceed 41%. And then there's a certificate of eligibility. That's what you have to get from the VA. Okay. And then we have our USDA loans, United States Department of Agriculture. And it's just that no down payment if you qualify in our more southern country areas, because the word rural, I have to say it really slow in order to say it right. So the country areas, and they're low interest rates, the lower mortgage insurance premiums compared to even FHA loans, which FHA is giving everybody something. It's restricted to what areas you can purchase in. Okay. You're restricted to what areas you can actually purchase in. Your income limits apply based on the location and your family size. And it's limited to just, you have to live in this house. So there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. You have to have at least a 640 credit score. So they say, but check with your lenders. Income limits cannot exceed 115% of the median area income. Your property must be USDA approved. So that means basically they want you to farm. They want you to run a farm. And your debt to income ratio typically is 41% or less. And then you could use a home equity line of credit. If you already have a property and you just want to pull some equity out of it, then you could, and go ahead and do that way too. Okay. So that's that. for the types of loans you can get right now. You can also get a DSCR loan. I'm going to go into that when I get to the investor side because it's more so for investors, even though you can get a DSCR loan and live in one of the units, but it has to be for a multifamily. You can't get DSCR on a single family home. So we're going to talk about that at another date. However, right. So that's where we are going to stop. I definitely wanted to talk about the primary loan, a personal loan, a personal mortgage for you guys today. Other than that, tomorrow we'll get more into the investor side of this. What do investors need in order to get loans from the bank? If they're not going to get it in their name, I just gave you everything you need to get it in your name. Now, tomorrow we're going to talk about getting it in your LLC or your S Corp or your C Corp or whatever corp you have. We're going to talk about that. And that's where we're going to talk about how tomorrow we'll start getting deep into investors and how the investors are getting how to get qualified for a loan as an investor, because you will need to know this. A lot of you don't want to do this in your name. So what happens is when you don't put it in your name, you end up with it being in your LLC. So we're going to talk about everything you're going to need in order to get approved for a loan using your LLC. All right. So for all of you who don't understand how the investors are doing this or what they're doing, we're going to go over it tomorrow and we're going to give you more information about it. All right. All righty. I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Boot camp is tomorrow. No, it's Wednesday. It's my bad yesterday. I'm apologizing ahead of time to all my boot campers because I made a huge mistake. I sent the email link to the wrong group and you guys didn't get it. So, and I was on there too, and I just went ahead and taught the class, but of course I'm going to do it over because you guys weren't there. So that's that too. Also, for those of you who couldn't get into boot camp, and we're already on session 4 out of the 8 sessions, we're already on session 4. So it won't be, well, we're going to repeat 3. So we'll have more, but won't be able to get into it. If you want, you can click the link in my bio and I'll drop the link on YouTube as well. But if you click the link on the bio, you can get the Divas DIY wholesaling kit for those who want to get into, you want to learn how to wholesale real estate, but you missed the boot camp. That's where you're going to do that. And of course, it's no longer $47. I was giving away over 7 hours worth of training, a workbook, and 8 different contracts that we use in real estate, wholesale and real estate. All of that for $47. The price has gone up. So it's not $47 anymore, but it's not the $497 either. It's only $97 now. So I'm just increased it $50. So it's still under $100 if you want to get this training. So I stuck that into the comments on our YouTube channel. I'll put it in the comments on Facebook as well. So just in case you guys wanted to know what it was. I'm gonna get ready to get up out of here. Like I said, this week we're going to be talking about money, how to get the funding, how to fund your real estate deals. We're going to go over private lending. We're going to go OPM. We're going to talk about private lending. I'm going to give you some gems for those of you who have business credit cards. I'm going to give you some gems on how you can utilize your credit cards how you can pull money off your credit cards and actually go and use that cash without paying the cash advance fee. Use that cash to get your credit card, to get your down payments and anything else you might need for your financing. All right. So we're going to be talking about that tomorrow too. Well, this week during this series, but tomorrow we're going to talk about what you need to get funded, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different things that you need to get funded. And that's just to get the money. And then we're going to talk about, after we talk about the hard money loans, we're going to talk about DSCR loans this week. We're also going to be hitting on some creative finance strategies. We won't talk about wholesaling because we talked about wholesaling all last month and all the way up until last week, I gave you guys a whole 7-part series on wholesaling real estate. I'm not getting into wholesaling, but we are going to be talking about lease options, subject to wrap mortgages. We're going to talk about tax deeds and tax liens and how you can fund this. You can literally buy houses with credit cards. Okay, so we'll talk about that as well. And I'm going to see if I can get little Miss Kyra to come on with me on a she's been busy this week though, so I might not be able to get her this week. So we'll see. I'll ask her though, and we'll have her come on and talk to you guys about credit. All right. All right. Now I am out of here because I've been up since the crack of dawn, and I'm gonna go take a nice hot shower and go to bed because it's been one of those days. So I will talk to you tomorrow. Remember what I always tell you guys: you can choose to be anything you want in this life. I just hope you choose to be kind. Because at some point in your life, somebody was kind to you, and it's always really cool to pay kindness forward. Even if you're not only does it make you a good person, but if we all did it, make the world a much better place to be in. And believe me, right now, we all need a better place for the world to be in. All right. So I will talk to you mañana. Hasta la bye bye.